This episode of Lore Drop is sponsored by Caleb Buchel. Shout out to Monica Gomez's baby daddy.
I mean, and corporate Liz, I mean, that's 9 to 5.
Yeah.
For 5 days a week. So
That's
I'm
right.
like, she gets her time.
She gets her time. She gets plenty of time. We need to let this other guy out.
I really want more of your Park Hill people to come see you perform and stuff. Because I'm just like, it's like you guys have no idea. You have no
idea
concept
Yeah.
of who this person really is.
Yeah. I still get from my one friend that came to Ordinary Heroes, still occasionally in the break room get a dark, is that dark fog?
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Hello, welcome to Lore Drop, a reinvent podcast. I'm Abby. I forgot my name. That's fine. We're live. We're live. I'm Abby, the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben, the creative and artistic director.
And our third host is a returning host to the pod. It's our friend
Liz. It's me, Liz.
I forgot how everything works. Listen, Ben and I were on a film set this morning. We had to wake up at 4 because we were taking care of our friend's dogs, and the shoot started at 5. So I don't know, like, we took a fat nap afterwards, and then when I woke up, I was like, I don't know what day it is, I don't know who I am. Everything's fine. But we get to do a time capsule episode today, so we power through. The horrors persist, but so do we. And we get to put a nice little bow on Talon Squad, Trust and Turmoil, which was our most recent stage show that closed on May 24th. We've been doing a couple of extra episodes of characters that didn't show up on stage, but were really big parts of the tabletop development for the show. And now we're just going to do our time capsule episode talking about its premiere. And then move on to our next project. It's gonna be really great. But before we get too far into this episode, we got to decide the most important part of the episode, which is what animated trio we are. And listen, out of spite last week, because James told the boys that he wanted to go watch a movie. And at first, Ben was like, oh yeah, we're going to go see Obsession. I was like, oh cool, when are we going to go see it? And then I was like, wait a second, James is the one putting this together. Ben, ask if this is just a boys thing. And it was just a boys thing. So I texted the girls chat and I said, James hates me. So, and they're going to go see a movie without me. So let's all hang out. And we watched Barbie Fairytopia. And we got to hang out with Elliot and get the baby snugs and eat pizza rolls and have a good time with the girly pops. And all y'all were scared at Obsession.
It was great.
Especially Rod. I think that's quite funny that Rod and Andrew were... Andrew makes sense. Rod does not.
Rod getting exposed. I have to, this is not even a stray, this is a call out for the guys, but come on, we got to be better at getting stuff together, everyone. It's like pulling teeth to get 5 of us to show up.
Yeah. And, you know, like all of us, we like, it was like that we were able to
it's
get
so true.
together.
I am very proud of the boys for getting together.
Yeah, planned for like a week.
Yes.
Yeah, we were... It took an hour for us to have plans, though.
And we did it.
So, but in spirit of that celebration of girl time, we watched Barbie Fairytopia, the first one. So our animated trio today is going to be Barbie Fairytopia. I forgot the main character's name again, even though we just talked about her.
Elena.
Okay, Elena, Azura, and Bibble, who is a blue little guy.
Fuzzy little
fuzzy
flying
little
guy.
I forgot about the butterfly.
No one can be the butterfly.
butterfly
That's the
is so-
scariest thing I've
James
ever
can be the
seen.
butterfly.
Okay.
James is the butterfly.
You're the
That's crazy.
butterfly.
Ben is Bibble.
Yay.
Do you want to be Azura?
I mean, yeah, I would love to be Azura.
Yeah, she was the one that all of us were like, oh, she's really pretty.
She's very cool blue hair.
Yeah,
The best haircut.
It was fun.
Oh, this thing is scary. I just looked up Bibble. He's he's like Sully from Monsters Inc., but like compact.
A little.
Yeah, like
yes.
somebody like put him in a trash compactor.
That's frightening.
And that's like what he, and he's like,
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
like very honored.
Yeah.
And then in the mermaid one, that's when the Pink Bibble gets, I don't know. At some point, there's a girl one that gets introduced, and I don't like her. She's annoying.
Okay. Very much looking forward to it. As an elder millennial, I have not seen any of these Barbie movies, so you girls keep me young.
Yes, the girls we have like a whole system for this. We have like 2 charts that we put characters on afterwards. We have a nice intelligent discussion after every time we watch.
Yeah, we have a movie and a debate, you know.
It's
like
good.
Yeah, it's very sophisticated.
It's great. Okay, cool. I could talk about Barbie movies forever, but we gotta talk about Talon Squad, Trust, and Turmoil. So, Ben, you want to lay the groundwork for what we did with the show?
Yeah, so Talon Squad, Trust in Turmoil is one of our stage plays, and it was a spy thriller. Some characters that it featured were all of Talon Squad: Bonnie Black, Amber Hitman Timmermans, and Zyra Zorlarin. And so in this story, Talon Squad investigates a potential cell of traitors within Cadence. The original production was just recently in May of 2026. It was the second production of our 2026 season, and the first one to be devised from a TTRPG story as the source material for it. It was directed by Abby, and assistant directed by Julia, script by Julia Whitson and James Cross.
And they had a mammoth task of making that script.
Yeah. So we've said this before with this one, when we say devised from TTRPG, a tabletop role-playing game, we played a small campaign of the Sentinel Comics role-playing game with our 5 Talon Squad actors and swapped Monica out for Kobe as Juice later down the line. But
why?
Because she was pregnant.
Oh.
I mean,
it is really funny. I'm editing an episode that we did a big batch record with Monica before she went on maternity leave, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to now like hear her voice, like just hear her talking about stuff from March, and I'm like, oh, there it is now. We have like an episode that's going to come out in October that is pre-Elliot. It's crazy.
That a true time capsule.
Yeah. But yeah, some production insights for the tabletop part of this, because this was a new idea. We had done 2 devised shows before this that we are calling Devised from the Sandbox is the label I put on them now. But this one we wanted to explore with like actually doing a tabletop game and adapting it into a stage play. And we knew we wanted to do a spy theme for this one. And so we being me, Abby, and James, chose the players that we wanted for this from the cast of Lady Legacy Tale of the Tide while we were still like in production of that. It was really during Tech Week was when we were like,
Oh yeah, no, I was sitting at my makeup station just like I still have the note in my notes app of just being like, okay, who would be which and then I talked to people individually, kind of was like, hey, you want to come play a game and maybe be on stage with it?
Yeah.
Which was great.
But yeah, and so we also in this decided that Jules would be great to have just as a writer in general with Reinvent stuff, because she very early on in the other devising processes for What If and Lady Legacy sort of like identified that the hook of the show that was really interesting, and so we're like, Jules is really good at finding that stuff. Let's put her in the driver's seat for this one, with really like helming the story. And so it was me, Abby, Jules, and James created and honed in the setting and the plot hooks that we would use for the campaign. From that, we looked at Cadence and Magic and Project Alpha were the 3 like big things that we were looking at. And then for the system, like I said, we used the Sentinel Comics role-playing game, which is a RPG made by Greater Than Games, and that is a system designed to emulate the flow of reading a comic book, and it's built upon having very flexible rules and telling a very fast-paced narrative.
And we learned about this game, so backstory, and I really hope I'm going to send the link to this episode to Faye to see if she'll pass it on to Adam directly. So one of my childhood best friends. So it's very funny whenever I tell my friend Faye this, that I'm like, yeah, my husband is probably the biggest fanboy of your brother. She's like, why Adam? And Adam's a very cool dude. So Faye and I grew up together doing Christian youth theater, and I remember distinctly there'd be times I'd be hanging out in her house and I would see some of Adam's art on the wall. Like he did there was like a couple years that he did the drawings for the improv teams that would go and compete. And I remember when it was in high school when the first edition of the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game came out. And that was a game that Adam Reptaro, Christopher Vidal, and
Paul Bender.
Three of them put out this game. It's a really cool collaborative card game. And I dated a boy in college, high school, college, that my friends, family friends, gifted us the Sentinels card game. And he took possession of it. And when we broke up, I never got it back. And I was kind of bummed about that because we never even played it. So this was, and right before it was our fall 2019 semester, Faye was working in the warehouse for Greater Than Games, and she sent me a giant box of
Massive
games,
box.
including the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game and the first expansion that they had for it. And we got obsessed with it, particularly Ben. Ben went down a huge rabbit hole of that game, mostly because it was really cool to see the parallels of the worlds that Sentinel Comics was compared to the Reinvent stories that we've been doing. And that was like right around the time that we started playing Dynamite campaign. So we got really, really into it. That was our go-to COVID game. Because it's a great collaborative game. It's a game that you either all win together or you lose together. And as someone who's a very competitive person, I prefer games like that, so I'm not a jerk. Like, don't play me Monopoly. I'm
Also, playing
ruthless.
Catan with Abby and Josh Raff is a treat. I highly recommend it.
I get so mad playing that game. But so as we keep going down the rabbit hole, if you know my husband Ben, he does get super hyper fixated on it. So he was super into. There was like a game on the computer that he got super into.
It was the digital version of the card game.
Yeah.
They also had Sentinels of Freedom. It's like turn based. They had sort of like XCOM for people who know that game. The fun thing to me, at least, which like led me to this massive hyperfixation on Sentinels of the Multiverse, is that the whole concept of this game is that they're not like real our comic book characters and heroes that we know from like Marvel, DC, Image, whatever it is, right? But that the cards on this game are like they are all characters and settings made up entirely from the Sentinels of the Multiverse setting. But the thing is, in that setting, it is a fictional comic book company inside this world, and so it has an entire publication history of like, this is the issue that this character first appeared in, and this is where their death issue, and then all these other things in these storylines and stuff, and that was incredibly fascinating to me because I love spreadsheets and I love hard and fast timelines and deadlines. Hi, Monica.
Yeah. And she'll never listen to this episode. But this is the Letters Page podcast is the only podcast that Ben listens to.
Like weekly.
And
it just came back after like a year-long hiatus. And I'm very happy.
He had went into you had a pretty big depression about
that was very sad.
The podcast being put on hold, and which they were dealing with business stuff that like was really, really crappy, and understandable why they wouldn't be making their podcast. So the definitive edition of Sentinels of the Multiverse card game came out in 2022. So we're 2 years into marriage. Get super hyped about the fact that like our favorite game is getting revamped. The art is gorgeous. It's been really cool to see Adam's art evolve over the years. And it's crazy. I don't think that Adam and I have ever had a conversation in person because he was like already moved out whenever Faye and I were like hanging out as kids. But like I saw his art growing up. So seeing like him grow as an artist has been really cool. But a year into us being married, the Sentinel Comics role-playing game came out because that came out in 2021. And we got super hyped about it because we were like, oh, this is so cool. Got all this stuff. It took us a little bit to play it just because we were in the middle of playing our Dynamite campaign, but we did a one shot that I actually ran. Yeah. And then we kept playing around with it. And we were like, the system is really neat because it's a lot looser. Like what I like to tell people is that like if you've never played a role-playing game, especially Dungeons and Dragons, this is a great gateway one. If you have played Dungeons and Dragons, it is counterintuitive because it is a lot simpler than Dungeons and Dragons, which means that there's more options, and that can be overwhelming. It's not just like roll d20, pass or fail. Like there's like different levels of success or failure, or there's like conditions on the success or failure.
The players have more input on what is happening at the table too with the twist system.
Yes, but when we had talked about us wanting to do another reinvent tabletop campaign, but then we were like, okay, well, this would be a really cool thing to try and play it and then adapt it to stage, because we're in the middle of adapting our previous tabletop campaigns into audio drama form.
Yep.
And that's like a longer form one, but we were like, well, let's see if we can figure it out with a stage show, because we used elements of Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games while developing What If and Lady Legacy Tale of the Tide. We just didn't sit around the table playing it. So we learned the system, and it worked out fairly well for us. There were like a few bumps in the road. Mainly the main bumps were us just learning the system, because we were playing with a bunch of people that knew how to play D&D, and then it was counterintuitive for everybody. But there are a lot of elements that we're going to keep using for stuff. Like I love the 6-issue or 6-session format.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the arcs
very compact and distinct.
Yes. And you're like, okay, this is a distinct thing that's happening here. And then you can keep going, like you can pick up with a new arc, but it's like these 6 play sessions, you get a start and finish with it. So we play it. We played the first arc, which we called the demi arc, which was where I was playing an antagonistic character towards the party. And again, we were still trying to get our footing with it. We ended up having a company meeting with all of us and being like, hey, how can we make this work a little bit better for everybody? Finished the demi arc, and then we went into the trader arc, which is the trader arc is what got adapted to stage. But it was still like really cool. I was proud of everybody for we all communicated, figure out like where the bumps were for us, and pivoted to make sure that we were still having fun telling the story, but then like getting a story out that we would be able to adapt. And we had Ben as our it's fun. We now have a new term for our stuff. We have a tabletop director, meaning whoever is the game master for the show. How was that experience for you? Because you are almost exclusively the GM for stuff. Yeah. It's very rare that you play as characters. When you do, you play very chaotic characters.
Yeah. It was fun. I think early on, a lot of the chaos went into the factor of I am very used to telling stories via tabletop stuff from just being a DM for 2 full-length D&D campaigns, and so I like a lot of that is just sort of like built into how I look at GMing. And then when we went in there, James and Julia have like no experience with D&D whatsoever. They'd be throwing out like traditional writing ideas, and like, that's a great idea, keep it stored somewhere. That doesn't work for tabletop because we don't know what the players are going to do. And so it was a lot of like training on the fly of like, okay, cool, hey, this is teaching how to like think of the story differently, of like the only thing you can do in this situation is create the plot hooks and anticipate whichever one that they are going to like latch onto and follow and pursue. And so it's a very like fly by the seat of your pants type of thing. And like that's part of why I have my massive spreadsheets, is that it helps that I don't have to do as much prep at the table, because I can go back and it's like, okay, cool, yes, I do have something for that actually. Let me go to the spreadsheet real quick. But it was fun. It was fun getting to learn how to play this game with everyone else as well, because I had GM'd our one shot for Trickshot and Rondor before, and that was kind of it. That didn't really have a lot of like the story stuff. It was more so like testing out the combat system. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun getting to like explore Cadence and Project Alpha, 2 things that have been big like factions in Reinvent for a long time already.
Yes.
Through this story, and getting to actually develop those out more clearly and make them feel like they have an actual. Project Alpha already did feel like it had an identity to it, but this was expanding of like, oh no, it's always been there. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Well, Cadence was just sort of like, it's there and we know nothing about it before this.
I mean, we didn't even know what the acronym of Cadence stood for until, and this has been something that has shown up in both full-length campaigns that you've run.
Yes. But it was the inciting incident of the Cataclysm campaign.
Ben did not have what does Cadence stand for, which is the Central
Agency for the Defense, Enforcement, and Neutralization of Criminal Entities.
Yeah, that didn't come around until we played this campaign.
That's cool.
Because you're like, I want an acronym, don't know what it means.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, fix it in post. But yeah, so we spent 6 months doing tabletop campaign stuff. Throughout that, we were also doing long form improv days, which was heavily influenced by there's an improv troupe in town called Phase 3 Comedy, and they're like bread and butter is doing long form stuff because Holly has like done an extensive amount of training in improv, and she's incredible. And we actually had her come in once to play with us to kind of like help us
Oh, cool.
guide like how to make our long form days work. But it was just fun. I mean, and a lot of them were in Monica's like kitchen that we would just play. Like the stage would be the kitchen area, and it was either Monica's kitchen or JD's kitchen. If it wasn't at the theater. And there's a lot of like really fun discoveries that happened during that. And a lot of those play dates were us kind of like figuring how characters interacted with each other. But then there were a few things that came up. They were like, that's a canon thing. Let's keep that.
Nice.
Just because we were like, that's a good idea. But we took the pressure off of being like, not all of this has to be canon. And that was something we kind of had to
Mostly because we really wanted Andrew to explore Kyle along with the rest of the Talon Squad characters.
Yes, because the 4, Titus, Bug, Juice, and Celeste, the 4 of them had been on the team for a substantial amount of time, and then Kyle gets added to it. So we were like, okay, well, how does he interact with everybody? So there was some really fun stuff that happened with that. It was a great way for us to explore the extra characters that Talon came up with. You want to talk about the 3 NPC trick?
So that was part of one of our things midway through the like tabletop stuff was looking at the other characters surrounding the players in the world. It was like, cool. The only ones that they really interacted with were like Bonnie and Amber and Demi. Oliver wasn't in the tabletop.
Oh yeah, Oliver showed up during playdates. Never mind.
So it was those 3, and then other characters would just like pop up for a little bit here and there. And so I don't remember who had the idea for it, but we decided it's like, let's ask the players to come up with a supporting cast of their own. And this is again a term that I learned and borrowed from the letters page, because they will talk about the characters supporting cast in those comic books and stuff. So we're like, come up with 3 like NPCs, characters that you're not going to play, but who your character is specifically tied to outside of Talon Squad stuff, to sort of expand not only just the world, but also Cadence in general. Because again, Cadence felt very hollow. And we know there's Talon Squad, and there's, you know, a few other people that we see sometimes.
Which is how we ended up with a scene in IT, because 3 characters.
Yeah, three of the players came up with a friend who was in IT.
And we were like, okay, cool. Well, I guess we're going to have a scene in IT now.
Yeah.
There were certain character traits that, so like our players came up with these characters, but then there were certain characters that got filled out a lot more by other people. Like in particular, Valentino's character is... I would say about 85% of that character's, like, how he is credited to Caleb Crumb. Because we brought him in to play, and he ran with the idea. We were like, yeah, no, this is a crappy boss who, like, thinks too highly of himself.
Yeah.
And he made some hilarious choices. And we were like, oh, okay, cool. So this elf is just overcompensating for his incompetence. And when he came to audition, I think he probably expected to be cast as Valentino, but then Josh Lachon came in, and I was like, oh, this would be really funny to put one of the shortest people in the cast in a character like this. And also not just because of his height, but he killed it with his audition. And I was like, this is perfect. This would be great.
And such a like joyful, huggable
So delightful to have him
human.
around.
And then
So
he
counter,
played
yeah.
the absolute worst guy.
Oh, he's the worst. Absolute worst.
Yeah.
And he milked it. It
Yeah.
was so good. And it was never too much. That's the thing, is that it was always like the choices that I think I said no to him maybe once about an idea where I was like, nah, maybe no, let's not do that. But everything else, like the beard comb stuff. That was all
he had a
him.
nail file
He had
too.
a nail file. Yeah, no, he suggested that at one point. I was like, he's like, can I do that during the funeral? I'm like, hell yeah, that's super great and disrespectful.
Yeah, when I realized that little pouch on his belt was just personal grooming items, and I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Just
was
the subtle, like just the undertones and also the very live and vibrant outward. But yeah, all the little, he really thought through all of that.
Jem is directly inspired by Julia. Because Monica and Jules were working out at the time together. And so Jem was directly inspired by Jules's personal training personality.
I mean, it's pretty much everyone in the show except for Bonnie, Amber, and Oliver were the characters and NPCs that everyone else made.
Yeah.
And not every NPC got put into the show because, fun fact, one of Emily's NPCs was a cat named Jerry, specifically an orange cat. And we're like, does anyone have a well-trained orange cat? No?
Great.
All right. Sorry.
That's a trick question. There's no well-trained orange
Exactly.
cat.
As someone who is an orange cat.
Classic
I-
Emily.
But man,
Yeah.
Jerry was a fan favorite.
Well, and that was fun because like I have a oh man, I have to find this picture. I'll put it on the cover art for this. But there is a picture of Emily sitting on Monica's kitchen counter and Deacon using a Bulbasaur plushie
Oh my gosh,
to
yeah.
be Jerry. And it's just delightful. That's one of my favorite pictures from devising. Anyway, so there was a lot of influence. There were some influences that we didn't take. Like there was one point we had our wonderful friend Amanda Boschnagel, who was in Ben's cohort at Tech. She came in.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think was it her as Amber that she was?
No, it was Jimmy.
Jimmy.
It was Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy was. She played Jimmy as like a truther.
Oh.
Massive conspiracy theorist.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was so funny, but we were like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Some of the conspiracy theories were like a little bit less dangerous ones. Like one that was like, oh, the Netherlands isn't real.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
I was
a
like, that's funny.
giant-
But then there were like
Or
other ones that we were
Switzerland.
like, maybe let's not.
Better not.
Let's not.
It was fun though. I still like that interpretation of the character, but
I think it works.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can see Jimmy being a truther, but it is very. But we were like, maybe we can't.
We'll leave that out
go
of
there.
this story specifically.
But it was pretty fun. So there was all this outside development. We did a couple table reads, get our final script, and then we get to actually doing the show. And Liz, you were going through a crazy career transition and lots of studying and all the things, and you were like, I can't act in this one.
Yes. And I was so devastated because up until this point, I've got to be a part of all of the stage shows and also for so many people that I love so much helping to create the show. I was like, I'll just be in the audience for this one. But I was feeling very sad. I was having a lot of FOMO, but I had to like focus and study. And so
We did realize,
Bowed
though, that the ideal stage management team is a stage manager and 2 ASMs. That's I love that. Perfect world, there'd be 3 ASMs, but that is I've had that one time, and it's just hard to like get a really solid team like that together. But when we realized that Monica would have to go on maternity leave, we were like, maybe Liz would want to come do this because it wouldn't be as much pressure as being an actor. And then looking back on that, I was like, no, ASMing is a lot of pressure, but it was still like, it would be easier for you to be away during the rehearsal process. Cause we were like, as long as we have you during tech and the shows, like we'll be good. Cause that was the important part, to have the extra set of hands and the extra brain backstage. And I was so happy when because I was like, it was like, there's no way that she's gonna say yes to this, and then you did, and I was like, 2 for 2 of Liz saying yes to things.
I know. Here's the thing. You're hard to say no to, but I also was having so much FOMO that I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And y'all were so gracious to let me come in really just once a week until after I took my test so that I could prioritize that, because theater is the most fun, but I also have to do some
You have to
gotta pay the
career
bills.
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
grown up and
I
like
to
have
be
a
grown
real
up,
job.
unfortunately.
The
sometimes.
duality of Liz is crazy because like I think I was talking to Josh Rapp about you because he was like, yeah, Liz seems really cool. I was like, Liz is one of the most interesting people I know, and also there are two wolves inside of Liz. One of them is corporate Liz, that is really like it's Park Hill Liz, and then there's Reinvent Liz, and they are so opposite from each other. Because I remember that one day that we saw the Instagram video of you like explaining, and I was just like, she sounds like a normal adult who's like
Yeah.
who has no whimsy whatsoever. And then the next day you're in rehearsal, like on the floor saying, "Dear diary,
Yeah.
today I met a skeleton."
Yeah, exactly. The other wolf is more like what's the hyena in the Lion King?
Ed. Yeah.
Yeah. The other wolf is Ed, and that lives inside of me for sure. But yeah, they're just always fighting for their time. So
I mean, and corporate Liz, I mean, that's 9 to 5
yeah,
for 5 days a week. So
That's
I'm
right.
like, she gets her time.
she gets her time. She gets plenty of time. We need to let this other guy out.
I
For
really
sure.
want more of your Park Hill people to come see you perform and stuff, because I'm just like, it's like you guys have no idea. You have
No idea.
concept
Yeah.
of who this person really is.
Yeah, I still get from my one friend that came to Ordinary Heroes. Still, occasionally in the break room, get a dark. Is that dark fog?
That's so
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I love that.
Slowly but surely, we'll get more of them to come over and see the stuff. But yes, I was absolutely thrilled to get to be a part of it. Y'all were so gracious to let me come in. But also, I think, I don't know if this is part of the question part
Go for
later,
it.
but never having worked on the other side
Yeah.
either. And Mackenzie's probably one of the best stage managers I've ever had in a production. And she was so like organized and professional in her onboarding. She had like everything listed out, all the expectations of a stage manager and an assistant stage manager, what it would look like in this production, what it looks like in other productions, like when the size is larger, or if it is like a community theater production versus like on Broadway, what that looks like from her studies. And I mean, Mackenzie reads like these books for fun as well as, studied this in school. And so she did excellent job communicating those expectations and was incredibly organized, and kind of walked Monica and I both through all of that. And I didn't really get to be there with Monica, but once or twice.
Yeah.
During rehearsals, really, I was filling in the gaps when she wasn't there during those weeks, and then stepped in a couple weeks before tech to be there every day. And it was a huge learning opportunity, getting to learn from how Mackenzie is as organized as she is, and where all of that comes from, and like her thought process and communication. But getting to be a part of like the production meetings too.
Yeah.
Also, low-key, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Leaving rehearsal anytime before, I thought y'all were just hanging out. I had no idea there was a production meeting after rehearsal every single night.
Yeah.
Like when we would leave, I was like, man, these guys really just love hanging out up here.
No, anytime I was like, if we were able to like get out within 10 minutes of y'all leaving, it was a miracle. Cause I'd be like, okay,
What do we need to troubleshoot? What
Yeah.
do
what
we
do I
need
just
to
need
fix?
to fix?
That was eye-opening for me. I was like, I mean, that makes sense. Like, you do have to talk through all the things, especially being over there, making the reports or bringing in all the like previous rehearsal reports into the master file so that could be shared with the designers and the rest of the team. Like, that absolutely makes sense. You got to sit down and talk about what does the rest of the week look like? What are things that need to be troubleshooted?
Yeah.
Shooted? Okay.
I'm not an English teacher.
But yeah, it absolutely makes sense. But yeah, up until my very first after rehearsal production meeting, I just thought you guys were hanging out at the theater after rehearsal.
That's really funny.
And sometimes that's the case afterwards, but yeah.
Yeah.
By the time we get done, like, cause I after being on for 3 hours, like with directing, I definitely do start to crash while we're doing those like post rehearsal meetings. And I'll be like, okay, what do we need to do? Which it's like Liz saw a different side of Abby, director, being like, oh, which like, I mean, like, that happens, but it is just, I've always told actors, and especially like the students I work with, I'm like, if like you want to be an actor, don't just act, do other stuff. Because people who just act often can be insufferable to work with because they just don't understand everything else that's going on. And not that you can't just be an actor and be a good person, but I have seen it very often where there are people who don't understand the other facets of theater. And honestly, I think it's more so for directors, because directors, I have worked with several directors who are definitely more actor coded. And they do not understand that, like, with the design and technical process, that there are sometimes, like, the reason we have to say no to some stuff isn't because we're like, we hate you and we want to ruin your show. It's like, we can't physically do this, or it's not like we don't have the manpower to do this or whatever. And then I've had directors get pissy about that. And it's just like, well, it's like, again, I don't like telling people no. That is my least favorite thing to do.
You rarely do, for the record.
I mean, I feel like I have figured out a way to like not tell people no, but be able to like get people to understand why I'm like, this isn't what I want. But like, if we redirect it, I'm like, sure, go try it. And then it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, can we do it my way now? And then
that's
it works
one of
out.
my favorite things that you do. And honestly, I think there's so many things from rehearsals, specifically reinvent rehearsals and like the devising process, that you can take into every part of your life. But the like, sure, let's try it your way one time. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Yeah. This is how I'd like to see it. Let's give that a shot. Okay, we tried it.
And a lot of time, more often than not, we'll take elements from that and then make it we come to like an agreement with it. The only time I feel like I said no to something was Andrew doing the worm. And I said yes to a different thing of him adding the little dance when he was like, oh, heck yeah, baby. Because originally I was like, I want it to be like football boy energy where you're like, yeah. And then like, it's like, oh, it came out of nowhere. And he was like, can I add a little bit more to it? And I was like, what do you mean add a little bit more to it? And he's like, look, a little dance. And I'm like, show me what you're talking about.
A little dance was the worm.
And then like it just kept growing. So like he added the dance part and I was like, okay, cool. This, yeah, sure. We can do this. And then there's one day, it was like either before tech or like early part of tech. He was like, can I do the worm? I'm like, no, you don't have room. And he's like, just let me show you it. And there's a video of this.
Yes, I cameo in that video. I am sweeping the stage in the background of that video.
And he showed to me and I was like, and you can hear me at the end being like, okay, cool, no.
Yeah.
And I went up to him because I was out Saturday night because we went to Coronado's graduation, and I came back at the end just to say hi to people. And some one of us from our little stage management director circle was saying like, oh yeah, Andrew's been talking a big game about how he's going to do stuff for the final show. And I went up to him and I was like, do not. I was like, you are going to make good choices on Sunday. And you know what I don't want you to do. And he was like, but like, and starts like doing like the worm motion with his hand. I was like, I will kill you.
It was very
if you
funny.
do it. And he was like, but, and no.
Andrew knows the best ways to rage bait anyone.
At literally everyone, especially me. But yes, he can.
All three of us are victims of Andrew's rage baiting.
Yeah.
I wish I knew better at this point, and I should, but I don't.
No.
But I don't. Gotta love the little guy, but man.
And that's why he's going to be the bad guy on our next Device show. Because he can't keep getting away with people thinking that he's just a cute little guy.
Can't keep getting away with this.
Beth Brown called him a precious little lamb backstage at one point. Yeah. And we were like, no. You don't know.
Haven't seen the things we've seen.
I want to ask one final question of you, Liz, specifically before we wrap up. How has your perspective changed on, I guess, two-part question about just you as like a performing artist getting to be on the stage management side for this one. How has your perspective changed about theater work? And then kind of piggybacking off of that, has your perspective of what we do at reInvent changed alongside that?
That's a good question. I think absolutely. I feel like everyone should be in some type of other role, like you said, just to really have like an understanding and appreciation for the commitment and the work that goes into it. But I knew before this, Mackenzie was one of the best stage managers that I ever had, but I only got to see the ways that I interacted with her as an actor. And that was my full knowledge of what a stage manager did, you know, getting the rehearsal reports and the daily calls and, you know, running the show during the show, helping occasionally during rehearsal with a few things, but I didn't really have like a full encompassing knowledge of what it takes to, and it makes sense, but like the responsibility of a stage manager to organize all of the moving parts that make the production happen, and how much work and dedication and commitment. You're like memorizing a 2-page monologue. That's nothing. You have to be there every single day. You have to keep a lot of creative people corralled. You have to herd a lot of cats, circle back on a lot of things, say it different ways until people are like understanding, you know, what exactly that you're asking for. And so a huge appreciation for good stage management as a whole, which I already felt so appreciative of. I mean, I could tell the difference in productions previously of having like a green or well-established stage manager and the impact that made, but only from the interactions that I had. I didn't see how much it impacts everyone, like literally everyone that's a part of the production. And so that was really cool to get to see. Just extra kudos there. Again, also not knowing our great production team was staying after to make sure everything was running smoothly after every single rehearsal. And that was great too. Even when you're tired, even when you're rehearsing until 10 and you have a big kid job that you have to go to the next day and you're staying late to make sure you're setting up the next rehearsal.
Someone's got to get this floor off the stage.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's huge. And the dedication and commitment to that. And also I think my experience has always been, even on like the acting side, I think specifically within reInvent, how y'all work with, all I had ever known was the actors, but is in such a way that like really empowers and gives confidence to the actors. You learn something, you feel empowered in your character, you feel empowered in whatever you're learning and in the scene, and to be a part of that group. And I feel like that's true for the other side as well, you know, getting to come in and learn a new thing, and to feel empowered in that. You talked about the 2 wolves that live inside of Liz. So, there's a lot of things with stage management that are very closely aligned to the work that I do, as far as like spreadsheets and sending emails and organizing teams of people and creating deliverables and deliverable schedules and creating quality control and accountability for people that are a part of your team, so that you can create one big thing, big show, if you will. And so there was a lot that was in alignment with that. So that part was like a little more of the day today, but getting to be a part, like when it really went live in Tech Week, getting to be a part of like transition rehearsals, getting to be backstage for the show too, and like the energy that's a part of all of that. You still feel all of that even if you're not stepping out on stage.
Well, and then like being adaptable, because we had our Thursday night show, I stepped into a role for an actor, and so I could focus on making sure the words and the fight choreography were correct. You did the set transitions,
Yeah.
for that track, and then we just ended up keeping the assistant stage management on that track just so that other actor could recover. But it was really cool just to see how quickly everybody was like, okay, cool. Like even I remember like texting our group chat being like, okay, this is what's happening, because I had a phone call with Jules and was like, okay, this is who's acting. We need to figure out the rest of the stuff. And you had already jumped on, like you were like, I was already thinking about the fact that's like, I'll do the set changes. And I was like, that's great, because that was the thing I was most worried about.
Yeah.
Which took a lot of pressure off of me stepping into something that was thrilling but still scary. That's a great word to say. It was exhilarating experience, but still a very new kind of stress for me to step into a role with about 5 hours notice of like having to do it.
Which you did from the baby monitor is all I got to watch it on, but you did so well.
It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't upset that I got to do a night. But yeah, I was really appreciative of the team that I had. This honestly is the best AD and stage management team I've had. Out of the it's been 5 years now of me directing full length shows, and this is definitely the most solid team I've had. Which is gonna be we were joking at our board meeting of being like, okay, it's like the stage manager team for Something Wicked has a lot to live up to. I'm the stage manager for that show, and I'm like, no, this is so much pressure. But yeah, no, it's been really cool to see people use their gifts. That you might not think about them being good gifts for theater, but then they end up being really helpful assets to your individual experience, but then to the experience as a whole with everybody else.
Yes. And I think just putting a bow on the rest of that, I feel like I've got to see director Abby come out in different ways and fight director Abby also, like across the board, especially during Tech Week. I feel like you really, across the process, but you really come in and you're like, okay, no, this is the vision. You see something kind of just transform once we're really like on the stage and it's all happening. I've never had an appreciation or affinity for transitions before. I'm just like, this is a very important part to happen, but I've never been like, wow, I love it. I was living for the transitions.
Well, and that's something that we got a ton of compliments about, was our choreographed and seamless transitions, which is something, because I hate scenic transitions, because if you don't know this about me, I have ADHD. Shocker. If you've listened to this episode. But I have such a hard time, especially if they're in the dark and you can see people moving around, they're like not knowing where things go. And I was like, we are drilling these. Yeah. And everybody was so good at it, especially with how much stuff we had to get on and off stage. Yeah. I was so pleased with that. And it really, I can't do it for y'all. Like y'all had to lock in and everybody locked in, and it was incredible. I'm just really I'm grateful for everybody that was involved in this process. It was really cool. I think that we stepped up our game a lot. I think that all of our shows have been really good, but like in terms of the other elements outside of the acting, I think that we have raised the bar for ourselves. Absolutely. Which is cool. That's the growth that we want.
And I feel like I have to say this, even though Monica will never listen to this episode because she's not in it. We did not imagine she was going to be there for Tech Week or the show. Yeah. And she just was like, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. When she said, I'm back in the game, coach, I was like, okay.
This is like, wild.
I first was like, I was going to argue with her about it. I was like, there's no arguing with her. She told me she's back. Okay, cool. She's back. I will not argue with her, and I can't argue with her.
Well, and she's so good at listening to herself that you really just, you trust Monica to know herself above all else. Totally. But she came in and killed it. And it would have still been a treasure to be able to be back there, even if I was flying solo backstage. But it was a lot of extra fun to get to actually share in that with her as well. And then always on the phone to Mackenzie, keeping us in line and keeping her updated. So it was very, very cool experience to get to be a part of with the whole team. And I, love our little stage management group too. It was really really sweet.
Before we end today's episode, Liz, do you have anyone or anything you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out Cataclysm. Get ready for the audio drama coming soon.
Yeah, Ben is in the middle of editing. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. June 24th is the first episode. It's going to be 6 parts. It'll be a new episode every Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. If you donate to our Lore Drop sponsorship, that supports our audio drama specifically. So if you want to hear your name at the beginning of an episode and know that you're supporting new art, check out our donation page because that helps us out a lot. Our next episode of Lore Drop is with the wonderful Justin Gonzalez. We are pivoting back into topics that have to do with Cataclysm, and we're going to be talking about court spots, which is a lovely conversation with Justin. And it'll be fun to learn about the very, very scary robots that come out of Gemstone Industries and show up a lot within Cataclysm, Dynamite, and several other things with with Reinvent. So we're very excited with that. Also, special shout out from me and Ben to Christopher and Adam. We're so glad that the letters page is back.
Yeah.
And we're excited for the new episodes. Thank you so much for everybody who listened to today's episode of Lore Drop.
And remember, being fantastic starts with being a fan.
Yes. Go.
Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/Lore Drop sponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.